If any Jewish person voted for Joe Biden, they should be ashamed of themselves.
Entering court yesterday for his criminal trial, failed former President Donald Trump lashed out at Jewish people, saying if any Jewish person votes for Biden, they should be ashamed of themselves. Here is Trump flanked by his lawyer, who doesn't look thrilled with Trump's admonition of the Jewish American public.
Thank you very much. What Biden is doing with respect to Israel is disgraceful. If any Jewish person voted for Joe Biden, they should be ashamed of themselves. He's totally abandoned Israel, and nobody can believe it. I guess he feels good about it because he did it as a political decision. You have to do the right decision, not the political decision. But
well, you know what? I'm a Jewish American, and I think that Joe Biden has not abandoned Israel. Not that Israel's my country. I'm a citizen of the United States. And I think that Joe Biden is making some very, very modest requirements when it comes to the providing of funding and weaponry to Israel. And big picture, has not abandoned Israel. And I'm not at all ashamed of the fact that I voted for Joe Biden, but Trump continuing to attack Jews. Trump also saying that the courthouse is closed down like Fort Knox. Part of this is his explanation as to why the protesters in favor of Trump aren't allowed there.
Today we have Rick Scott here, Senator Rick Scott. We have other politicians here. We have people, many people in support. The outside of this building is closed down like Fort Knox. Nobody's ever seen. We have so many police down here, New York's finest, and they are New York's finest. They're just told what to do, but they don't have them at Columbia. They don't have them at NYU or any other places. This is like an armed camp down here.
The impetus for this is Trump wants to make it clear that the reason he doesn't have more supporters outside the courthouse is because it's all closed down. It happens not to be closed down. Here is video from right outside the courthouse as you see plenty of folks milling about.
Trump is not above the law. Trump is not above the law. No one is above the law. No one is.
Yeah. And so there are anti-Trump protesters outside the courthouse, interestingly enough. Now, Trump mentioned the presence of Republican Senator Rick Scott in court yesterday. This seems to maybe have been a way to circumvent the gag order, get Rick Scott to say certain things that maybe Trump can't or shouldn't during the cross-examination of Stormy Daniels, which is what took place yesterday. Here is Rick Scott basically saying Trump's a victim, just like they made me a victim when I was running a company.
No.
Did it have anything to do with the gag order, you being here today?
No, I'm fed up. I watched what happened to me and my company. I've watched what's happened. I've talked to business people over the years, what's happened to them when you have political persecution. And now what I've watched what President Trump has done with all these cases. This is just simply, they don't want this guy on the ballot. I mean,
listen, if the persecution of Trump has anything in common with the persecution or prosecution of Rick Scott, then it's quite substantive, because Rick Scott's company appeared to have been engaged in pretty serious fraud and paid a huge fine to settle that fraud claim. And Rick Scott pled the fifth endless times, which Trump has said is evidence of guilt previously many, many times. Rick Scott also repeating the false notion that the gag order prevents Trump from campaigning.
they've got a gag order, so he can't go campaign. They've got him holed up in a courtroom.
Yeah, the gag order does not prevent Trump from campaigning, and it doesn't prevent Trump from testifying. The gag order is limited to ensure a fair trial, to prevent Trump, or to try to prevent Trump from attacking witnesses or court personnel. And by the way, who would talk about a two-tier justice system? Who would be allowed to violate a gag order 10 times and not to be put in jail? Trump is certainly benefiting from that two-tier justice system, that is for sure. And increasingly, I'm sort of the mind that Trump actually going to jail might be quite good for fundraising, but not so good for Trump's ultimate election. Let's talk about that a little bit. We've talked on the show about the various problems in the supplement industry, a major one being how the quality and freshness of what you're getting can vary which is why for years I've turned to AG1. Our sponsor, AG1, conducts relentless testing to set the standard for purity and potency. Just a single daily scoop of AG1 has your daily vitamins, minerals, and probiotics covered, conveniently replacing all your other supplements. And AG1 is constantly searching for how to improve. At 52 iterations of their formula and counting, their team is always trying to find better ways to source and test ingredients. AG1 was researched and developed by an in-house team of scientists, doctors, and nutritionists with decades of experience in their fields. AG1 is NSF certified for sport, one of the most rigorous independent quality and safety certification programs in the supplement industry. They obsess over product quality, the standards of manufacturing partners, and their sustainability practices. You can try AG1 and get a free year supply of vitamin D and K, plus 5 free AG1 travel packs at drinkag1.com/Pacman. The link is down below.